Picture this. A city burns to the ground in 1871. Almost the entire downtown, gone in 36 hours. Most cities would take decades just to recover. Chicago didn't just recover. It used that disaster to become the most intentionally designed city in American history. Meanwhile, cities like Los Angeles and Houston grew without any real master plan, and today, they're paying for it. Houston still has no zoning code. LA has some of the worst traffic in the country, with the average commuter losing over 60 hours a year sitting in it. Chicago took a different path, and today, I'm breaking down the 5 decisions that made it America's best planned city and why other cities still can't catch up. Let's start with that fire, the 8th of October, 1871. The Great Chicago Fire destroyed roughly 3.3 square miles of the city, left about 100,000 people homeless, and wiped out most of the wooden downtown. Here's the twist. Because everything burned, Chicago rebuilt with strict new fire codes, wider streets, and modern infrastructure baked in from day one. Compare that to a city like Boston, still navigating streets that started as 17th century cow paths. Chicago got a blank slate and it used it. That rebuild set the stage for something even bigger. In 1909, architect Daniel Burnham released the Plan of Chicago, widely considered the first comprehensive city plan in U.S. history. Burnham's famous line was basically, "Think big, because small plans don't stir people's blood," and he backed it up. His plan proposed wide radial boulevards, a unified park system, and a lakefront preserve for the public decades before most American cities even thought about long-term planning. For comparison, Los Angeles didn't get serious zoning until the 1920s, and even then it prioritized car infrastructure over people. Chicago is already thinking in systems, transit, parks, and streets working together 20 years earlier. This might be the single greatest planning decision in American history, and most people don't even know about it. Chicago has 26 miles of Lake Michigan shoreline, and almost all of it, instead of becoming private mansions or industrial docks, is public land. Parks, beaches, bike paths, museums. The phrase written into Chicago's planning history is that the lakefront should be forever open, clear, and free. That commitment held for over a century. Now compare that to cities like Miami or even New York, where huge stretches of waterfront are locked behind private development. Chicago essentially gave every resident, rich or poor, a shared front yard on one of the largest lakes in the world. That's not an accident, that's policy. Chicago didn't just plan horizontally, it planned vertically too. After the fire, architects here pioneered steel frame construction, which is the entire reason skyscrapers exist. The Home Insurance Building, built in Chicago in 1885, is widely credited as the world's first skyscraper. But here's the planning genius part. Chicago paired that architectural innovation with zoning that controlled density instead of letting it run wild. The result is a downtown The Loop that's incredibly dense and walkable at the same time. Compare that to Houston, which to this day has no formal zoning code. You can have a strip club next to a school, next to a mansion. There's no coordination. Chicago proved density and livability aren't opposites. They just need a plan. Last piece, how you actually move through the city. Chicago's elevated train system, the L, started in 1892, making it one of the oldest rapid transit systems in the country. Combined with a grid of wide, numbered boulevards that literally connect the park system across the entire city, Chicago built multi-layered infrastructure most cities only add decades later, at massive cost. Even Wacker Drive downtown is double-decked, separating through traffic from local streets, a solution to congestion Chicago engineered nearly a century ago. Compare that to Los Angeles, a city built almost entirely around the car, where rail transit is still being retrofitted in decades after the fact at a fraction of the coverage. Chicago planned multimodal transit before multimodal was even a word people used. So let's line it up. Houston, no zoning, sprawling, car dependent. LA, reactive planning, chronic traffic, retrofitted transit. Chicago, a grid system, a preserved lakefront, density paired with livability, and transit that's over 130 years old and still running. Chicago didn't get lucky. It got planned on purpose, at scale, for the long term. That's the case for Chicago as America's best planned city. Not because it's perfect, no city is, but because almost every major decision, from the lakefront to the skyline to the trains, was made with the next 100 years in mind. If you want to see the other side of this argument, the cities that got it wrong, let me know in the comments, and I'll break down America's worst planned city next. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.